From the CyberHub bunker and studio, you're tuning in to the CyberHub podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
Well, good morning, folks. June 22nd, 2021. James Azar here with your Practitioner brief. I've had to pre-record today. I'm sorry, some stuff came up. It's very early, but I had to get it out to you guys on time today, gang. I apologize that it's not live. I'll be back live tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, so you can catch it. Also, if you're listening on your favorite podcast listening platform, please subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, and please share this podcast with your friends and family. And colleagues and people who you think would find it very, very useful. We've got a really, really busy show today. A lot of different things to talk about. But before we get into that, a shout out to Noble Forwistic and Nativo Networks for supporting our show. And now, without further ado, my ceremonial cup of coffee this morning. You know, typically I bring up your comments. So I'm going to say good morning to Matt, Heather, John, everyone who comes on, David. Cheers. Let's get right into what's going on with a report about container attacks increasing and include a supply chain attack. So this story, thanks to Kevin Townsend from Security Week, talks about attacks against the container infrastructure are continuing to increase in both frequency and sophistication. It takes just a few hours to detect a new vulnerable container using internet scanning tools like mass scan. The attacks are becoming more evasive while the supply chain is now targeted. According to Aqua Security's team, Natalius has analyzed 17,358 attacks against its honeypots between June of 19 to December of 20. It found that adversaries could detect a new misconfigured container within an average of 5 hours, the fastest within a few minutes, and the longest at 24 hours. In 50% of the cases, the new container was detected in less than an hour, showing you just how vulnerable our containers are. Some adversaries continue to use public search engines like Shodan and Census to find misconfigurations, but others use scanning tools such as mass scan or others. Once a host has been compromised, the adversary will likely use worms to detect and infect new hosts, increasing the frequency of scanning and the likelihood of detecting new misconfiguration. There's an example, more than 90% of the there's an example in the report by Aqua Security. There's also 90% of the attacks are designed to hijack resources for crypto mining. Most of these are related to the Kinsing malware campaign, which downloads a crypto miner. Crypto mining is often seen as more of an inconvenience than a threat, but Aqua warns that more than 40% of the attacks also involve some sort of backdoor. So crypto attacks, not just inconvenient, financial issues, right? All of a sudden your cloud costs skyrocket, your container costs skyrocket, the estimate cost that you had for that move is now much higher. That's one warning sign, by the way, folks. You can read more of this, and the links are all in the show notes, so you can check them out as well. As we more and more transition to the cloud, as more and more things become readily available, and more as more things transition to the cloud, folks, this is going to get significant, increasingly significant. And so as you're looking at containers, please make sure to get and address this stuff as well, folks. I want to move to our next story, where an NVIDIA Jetson chipsets have been found vulnerable to a high-severity flaw. The U.S. graphic chip specialist NVIDIA has released software updates to address a total of 26 vulnerabilities impacting its Jetson system on module series that could be abused by adversaries to escalate privileges and even lead to denial of service and information disclosure. Tracked as CVE 2021-34372 through CVE 2021-34397, the flaws affect products Jetson TX1, TX2 series, TX2NX, AGX Xavier series, Xavier NX, and Nano 2GB, running all Jetson Linux versions prior to 32.5.1. The company credited Frederic Perriot of Apple Media Products for reporting all the issues. There's a whole list of these, but the chief among the vulnerabilities is CVE 2021-34372, CVSS score of 8.2, a buffer overflow flaw in its trusted execution environment that could result in information disclosure, escalation of privileges, and denial of service. Please ensure that you get this stuff updated. A malicious PyPI package can hijack dev devices to mine crypto. We continue to mine crypto. Why? It's easy for cyber criminals to mine crypto. It doesn't cost them any money. They're using your resources. They get all the crypto, they cash it in, they move on to the next guy. There's so many of these that why even do ransomware, especially with the crackdown on ransomware. So watch crypto mining become really increasing. Watch it explode over the next 3 to 6 months. According to, well, we don't know who this is, but this is a PyPI repository for Python projects, that turn developers' workstations into crypto mining machines. All malicious packages were published in the same account and tricked developers into downloading them thousands of times by using misspelled names of legitimate Python projects. A total of 6 packages containing malicious code infiltrated the Python package index. PyPI in April, MeritLib 1, MeritLib Plus, MLlearn lib, MP latib, and learning lib all came from user AnyDog123, and the names of most of them are misspelled versions of the Matplotlib legitimate plotting software. X Sharma, security researcher at DevOps automation company Sonatype, analyzed the package in a blog post, noting that it used a dependency by other malicious components, and a lot more detail there. The researcher also notes that the malware author replaced the default Cryptix wallet address with their own to mine for Ubic cryptocurrency. Keeping in mind, this is only going to get worse before it gets better, folks. For those iPhone users, an iPhone bug makes it easy for someone to break your Wi-Fi, and here's how they do it. They just randomly name a network with a weird SSID, and that's all it takes to make your phone not connect to Wi-Fi ever again. This has been tested. There's a video here on ZDNet by Carl Shu at VM_call on Twitter, who shows how he did that, and it requires you to reset your network settings to overcome it. And our final story for today, Poland blames Russia for a breach and theft of official emails. The two ex-Soviet partners, now adversaries, Poland Deputy Prime Minister Jarosław Kaczynski says last week's breach of multiple Polish officials' private email accounts was carried out from servers within the Russian Federation. After reading the information provided to me by the Internal Security Agency and the military counterintelligence services, I informed me that the most important Polish officials, ministers, and deputies of various political options were subject to a cyber attack. The analysis of our service and the secure services of our allies allows us to clearly state that the cyber attack was carried out from the territory of the Russian Federation. Its scale and range are wide. On Friday, Poland handed over to the EU member states, the European Commission, and Council a document on the details of the cyber attack carried out in recent days. Russia continues to be an annoyance to EU member nations and NATO. The Microsoft Threat Intelligence Center said 1 month ago that the Russian-backed attackers behind the SolarWinds supply chain attack are now coordinating a large-scale phishing campaign targeting government agencies worldwide. This is just the beginning of the disclosure of that activity, folks. That's it for us here for this morning's brief. I'll be back tomorrow live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, so make sure you subscribe and follow us there at the CyberHub podcast. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to share. Most importantly, folks, stay cyber safe. Cheers.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.